Okay, so welcome once again. We are here to get ready for the Futures of New York conference. It is coming up in the beginning of May. Once again, I am Lisa Brundage, the Director of Academic Affairs at Macaulay, and I have many years of experience working with this event, so hopefully I'll be able to guide you through this pretty well. We also have team members here from the Teaching and Learning Collaboratory. We are the folks who can help you get ready if you need a little bit of support with your common event projects, and also at the event where the people who you will see helping to run the rooms. But there are some things you probably haven't experienced before that will be happening at the Seminar 4 conference. So we want to make sure that everybody feels prepared and ready. And we are here to do that today and also through meetings with you. And I'll get around to how to ask for that. All right, so why do we do all of these common events with the seminars? So now you're in your final seminar, you're probably excited that it's the last one, but you really get a chance throughout your seminar experiences to take in information in different ways and also express information in different ways and tell you the stories of yourselves as learners, as researchers, as scholars, as community members. And we do that in a little bit of a different way across each of the seminars. So you might not have been thinking of it exactly that way, but I want to frame it explicitly for you as something that we actually plan really, carefully throughout your experience. So in Seminar 1, you were looking at creative expression through the arts, doing close reading and analysis, doing a reflection on that. And then you went to the STEAM Festival and you were communicating your ideas with creativity, with speaking, with writing. In Seminar 2, that's the class where most students start working with data and identifying trends and concepts and engaging in what's called public scholarship, when the work that you do is available beyond the four walls of your classroom or just the common event. So you created those websites and used digital media to communicate. Then you went through Seminar 3. You got to participate in the STEAM Festival again, but you were asking scientific questions of data and you were using a poster to present those and getting a chance to display your work in that both visual medium and through talking through the ideas that you did with your research there. And now finally, here you are in Seminar 4, and this is a place where you get to do really deep engagement with particular topics and subject matter experts. Not that you don't get that in the other ones, you do, but Seminar 4 tends to be a little bit more focused on one particular arena of public life in the city than the other classes do, where we look a little bit more broadly, thinking about complex challenges, problem solving, and then you get to participate in the Seminar 4 Futures of New York conference, which really gives you kind of a practice conference experience. So whether or not you are going on to graduate school, if you are thinking about going directly into industry, whatever you're thinking about, it's probably going to be the case that you're going to need to present at meetings, at conferences, at places like that. And so this is a way for you to be able to dip your toe into that kind of work in a supported environment. So that's kind of the way that we move across the 4 seminars and then how they wrap up in this final conference experience. So what's the Futures of New York conference? So you might not before have participated in any kind of like an academic or a professional conference. If you have, that's great. Bring those experiences with you. And if you haven't, we're here to help make it work. So it's really a chance for you to show your real research in a conference setting with a live audience. So whether you're going to be doing the event in person at the Macaulay building or on Zoom, you will have an audience there. You will be presenting live and you will be taking questions and answers in real time. So it's a really great way to be able to practice not only speaking about your research, but also being able to demonstrate the way that you can think about the work that you're doing beyond what you have in your presentation, to extend that and to talk to people who are doing similar work. Okay, so this is also your chance to explore beneath the surface, like I said. So you might have the world's most beautiful, kind of like presentation or deck, and that's great. We want you to do that. But we also want you to gain experience, communicating with confidence, exploring how different forces shape the city that we live in, being able to talk about those with people from outside of your class, thinking about issues of justice and equity and ethics and how those inform both the topics that you're engaging with and the research that's done about them. You also connect with people. So one of the reasons we do common events is to help you meet people from outside of your campus who are part of the Macaulay community. So you get to meet other students, you get to meet other faculty, you get to meet other staff who work in our building and talk to all of them. We also want to give you a chance to reflect on being in your 4 seminars and then seminar 4 and reflecting on those and thinking about the journey that you've been on and all the work that you've done. You gain experience presenting, but also being an audience member, which we're going to talk about a little bit more. There's actually, you might be thinking more of like a movie where you sit and just watch something and take it in. But at a conference, when you're an audience member, you're really doing something quite active, and you are doing it with the idea that you're going to be in communication with the other people who are presenting. And of course, you can build out your Macaulay network this way. There's also a chance here to practice skills that are really important as you think about your next steps. There is stuff that you'll practice here that will come in handy in your upper level courses, in graduate school, if that's where you're headed, and in your career. We look at something called the NACE competencies, and that is, let's see if I'm still sharing, hopefully you can see this. NACE talks about the competencies for a career-ready workforce, and this will be posted up on the Seminar 4 site for you to take a look at. But they're really these, like what we talk about in terms of soft skills. So they have career and self-development, communication, critical thinking, equity and inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork, and technology. And these are, things that are explored across very many different sectors of employment and with different industries. And NACE, which is the National Association of Colleges and Employers, works together to bring higher education and employers onto the same page about what kind of skills they want students to have when they leave college so that they can be considered career ready. So it's really not just a matter of, like I finished my coursework and now here we are, but thinking about like those other skills that you do get a chance to develop by participating in common events and being able to talk about the work that you're doing and practice all of these different skills. So I want to just pause for a second to see if there are any questions so far. I don't see any questions. And I think we are okay. I talk very fast, so if you are finding that I'm going a little bit fast for you, then just please drop that into the chat. All right, so pre-conference activities. One thing that you really, really need to know about the Seminar 4 conference is that you present with a group. So you probably already have your groups that your professor for Seminar 4 set. When you're registering, you're only going to put one in per group, one registration per group. So you with your group need to coordinate, and you need to decide who is going to be the person who registers you. So that person, when they register, they should know what time you want. And the time slots are on the Saturday and Sunday, so May 6th and 7th. There's going to be a session from 11 to 1 and then one from 2 to 4. And then the Zoom sessions are going to be in the evening of the following week, I believe from 5 to 7 on the 9th and the 10th. So please make sure that you know with your group which one you want, and that the person who is registering you needs to have all of the information ready to go. So that would mean your title, your first and last names of everybody in the group, and the time slot that you want. Also before the conference, you of course are going to practice your presentation. You're going to understand what conference audiences do, which I promise we will talk about, and then you're going to participate. Okay, so for the registration, sorry, I already said a little bit of this, but I'm just going to repeat it to make sure everybody knows, because this is the only part that seems to be sometimes a little bit confusing. Make sure you decide on who is registering for your group. Agree on the best time and whether you want to come in person or if you want to do it online. We don't have any hybrid sessions, so you're either online or you're in person. We're not having people, Zoom in and join and like present to a room of people who are in the Macaulay building. It's one or the other. So you have options for doing it in person or for doing it online, but not for hybrid. You want to make sure that the person who is registering your group, like I said, has the first and last names of each group member, that they have your title. And we'll also, when you register, you can select some broad categories that your presentation fits into. It'll be pretty self-explanatory, but that helps us make the program and match up, presentations that have similar themes so that those groups can talk to each other the best. So that will just help make sure that you can be with an audience who kind of understands what you're doing a little bit. All right, so before you arrive, okay. We already talked about how one person is going to register you. Make sure if you are the person who is registering your group that you forward the confirmation with all of the conference information to your group members. So it even says at the top of your confirmation, forward this to all your group members. Don't forget to do that. And if you are expecting to hear from your group member that's signing you up and you haven't, go ahead and ask them, did you sign up for us? Like, are we ready? Like, what's our time? You know, what's happening? You want to practice. So you want to practice for your presentation. The slots for each group are 10 minutes. That does not include question and answer. That is 10 minutes of presenting. Okay, so you should know who is presenting each slide and what they're responsible for, and you should really practice it so that it gets into that 10-minute time frame. We have a little bit of wiggle room to let people go to maybe 12 minutes, but the big obstacle that we can encounter when we are at the conference is, and this isn't just the Seminar 4 conference, every conference, there are people who don't practice and they go way over time. And what that does is it means that other folks who are ready to present kind of get bumped. So you want to be, part of being a good conference attendee is making sure that you adhere to the time limits that are established. So you want to practice. You might want to think with your group, brainstorm some questions that you might get, anticipate what those are, ask other people that to be like, okay, this is my topic and I'm covering this, what questions might you have? And you can also practice some answers that you might want to be able to give. You won't be able to anticipate all of the questions you'll get or like pre-formulate all the answers, but you should think about how you want to handle that. Also make sure that whether you're in person or online, that every group member has a copy of the slides just in case. And there will be a chance to either pull slides up from the cloud or to put them on a thumb drive and load them onto the computer in the room if you're presenting in person. If you are presenting online, you'll be able to share your screen and do it that way, but it's always best to create some redundancy and make sure that multiple people have a copy. Even if it seems like it'll be super easy and only one person needs it, just always make sure everybody has a copy. Forever. Anytime you go someplace to present in your life, make sure that every person who is presenting with you has a copy of what you're doing. Okay, when you arrive at the conference, okay, so you're going to find your assigned classroom or breakout room. Those will be in the program. So if it is at the building, you'll go to a classroom. If it is online, you will go to a breakout room on Zoom. There's going to be a moderator in your room. Like I said, that'll be a member of the Teaching and Learning Collaboratory, and they are going to keep time. They're going to start the session and they're going to facilitate Q&A. So you don't have to be worried about the logistics of what will happen once you're there, but you do need to get in, get situated, and kind of be ready to go when the session starts. If you are coming in person, you should have your cleared 4 pass and a CUNY ID ready for when you enter the Macaulay building. Okay. All right, now during the conference. Okay. Each session, like we said, is 2 hours long. And within that 2-hour time frame, there's going to be what's called 2 panels. So a panel is a collection of presentations that usually have a thematic connection. Sometimes the theme at this conference might be Seminar 4, but where possible, we try to put together, for instance, folks who are working on transportation issues or folks who are working on land use issues or, something like that. To the extent possible, it's not possible to do that 100% of the time, just because some classes are very specific, or we have people in a particular time slot who have just really different kinds of topics that they're exploring. That's fine. You all are taking Seminar 4. You're all Macaulay students. You're all thinking about issues in New York, and you can all ask questions of each other. There's going to be 3 to 4 presentations on each panel. So you can basically think of that 2 hours as divided into 2 separate sections. So one panel and then the second panel. Some panels, and this will be up to the moderator, will have all the presentations for the panel. So those 3 to 4 presentations, and then a question and answer period. Some will go presentation, Q&A, presentation, Q&A. You don't need to worry about that. The moderator will explain that at the top of the session. You're going to obviously present your work there. And something that we really want to emphasize is that as the audience for one of those panels, you are going to be collegial. You are going to stay for the duration of the event. So let's say your presentation is in the first hour. You're not going to just leave because your presentation part is over. This event is really about not only presenting, but listening, talking, engaging. So you need to plan to be there for the full 2 hours. You're going to listen to those presenters and you want to ask questions. You might be thinking that like, oh, if I ask questions, is that, implying that they didn't cover something that they should have, or is it like challenging them like in a bad way? And the answer is no. You really want to come and be ready to talk to folks and engage with them and have fun learning more about what they did. So as an audience member, you're really tasked, like I said, not with being that movie audience who's just like watching and then leaving, but being there to talk, to be curious, to really like ask people about what was exciting about the work to them. So you might be asked, for instance, by your moderator to jot down questions as you go. You might have somebody who is going to bring up a conversation topic. And as a presenter, you can also say, in the Q&A period, well, here's something that came up for us during our research that we weren't really able to resolve. Does anybody have opinions about that? So you can think about the question and answer as really being bidirectional. It's not just about the audience asking you things and then you have to, like spit out answers. It's also about you being able to talk back with the audience and think about, what is helpful to you to learn from them, what they're thinking about your topic. Okay, so maybe this sounds like a lot, maybe it sounds relatively easy. We are here to help you. So the TLC has virtual appointments. You can get them very easily. And I'll put that link into the chat and it'll also be up on the Seminar4 site. But TLCs are available for appointments to help you with creating your slide deck. They can help you with presentation skills. You can even book a session to do a practice run through with your group of your presentation and just get some feedback right there on the spot so that you have a way to get like really particular feedback, make sure you're hitting the time limits, that things are running smoothly. So there's a lot of things that people can do for you at the TLC. So especially if you're feeling like you're not sure if your presentation is quite where you want it to be, just book an appointment. We're friendly. We're here to help. We want you to do your best. So with that, I can take any questions that you have about the event. Are there any questions? And I'm going to put that link for getting TLC help into the chat. The other thing that you probably will want to know is that registration is going to open on Monday morning. So that's April 17th. And if you are in coordination with your group, will be completely ready to go with your registration as soon as it opens. All right, here is your link for setting up virtual meetings. All right, we have a question from an anonymous attendee, and it is, can we use Google Slides? You absolutely can use Google Slides. You can use whatever slide format you like. So if you are presenting on your computer virtually, obviously that can be, anything. If you are presenting at the Macaulay Building, it can be on Google Slides, it can be on PowerPoint, or it can be on Keynote, the Apple slide deck software. And there is also the link for the conference website where you will do your sign up. On Monday, when registration opens, the very first page that will be on there, here's one that's actually a live link you can click. The very first page that you'll see when you go to that site will be registration, so you won't have to hunt around for it. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, then I hope, oh wait, here's one more. Can you get a list beforehand of the categories? So yes, I can post those up on the site this afternoon. Hold on one second. I'm just going to read them out to you. I don't have them live yet to post up for you, but they're pretty broad. Hold on one second. So these are the categories that we usually have. We usually have, actually, hold on. I can actually paste them into the chat. So give me 1 second. So they are usually education, transportation, housing, economic development, urban infrastructure, poverty and inequality, policing and incarceration, urban food systems, public health, urban environmentalism, land use and public space, culture and arts, technology, and other. So if you have, and you're able to put something in there if you don't see your topic represented. Okay, and where will this video be located? So this video of this webinar will be up on that Seminar 4 site as well. So when the recording's ready, it will be up and easy for you to find. And then we also have a question about, should we bring notebooks to take notes on presentations? That's up to you. If you like taking, notes on your phone, that's totally fine. I recommend having something to write with. It's always nice just to be able to jot down some things. We also usually have kind of index cards available in the rooms. Definitely bring something to write with so that you don't have to scramble around to find a pen or a pencil. All right, and the other thing that I want to encourage you to do is to have some fun and be proud. You've done a lot of work, you've made a lot of progress. Here you are getting ready to enter your junior year, and we can't wait to hear from you. If you have any other questions, you can contact TLC Help. That's also on the Seminar 4 site, or you can contact me. I will be at all of the sessions and I can't wait to meet you there. So thank you, and everybody enjoy this warm day and a nice weekend. And thank you so much for coming on this odd first Friday back from spring break. So I hope it was a good one. Thanks, everyone.